Ladies and gentlemen, how are you tonight? I know you can make so much more noise than that. How are you tonight? Yeah! Harmontown is now in session. Jeff Davis is now with us tonight. I'm sitting in for him. My name's Brandon Johnson. Let's get right the fuck to it and bring out the mayor of Harmontown, Mr. Dan Harmon!
Thank you, Comptroller Brandon.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rob Schraub! Rob Schraub, ladies and gentlemen. Wearing only the freshest of fabrics.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming on a Monday night. Boy, we've got a lot of show for you. We got no Spencer, gosh. We got no Jeff, but we got. I mean, come on, we got the dream team.
4 empty seats.
Yeah, we got a provocative guest. We got
topics.
We got topics. I'm just going off of what Schraub's been telling me over drinks before the show.
I'm filling them in, people.
Here's the bullet points. There's a mega storm coming to California that's going to kill us all.
Yep, bigger than a big earthquake.
I thought we just went through that shit. There's a man named Ingersoll Lockwood who in 1896 wrote a book about how the Trump family is time traveling through
all true
through Tesla energies that exploded in the center of the earth.
1900 or the last president, magical journeys.
There's a YouTube
Baron
video,
Trump.
And I mean, we got to talk about that, but we'll wait for our guest to come out. So
we're just giving you a table of contents right now for the show.
What else is going on? Look. I asked Spencer for permission. I've been in a terrible mood lately. I've been very depressed. I say that assuming that resonates with a lot of people. I don't know if it's the weather or if it's like the apocalypse, but for in my case, I mean, it might even be. It's just like my therapist has been warning me. You're arriving at happiness. It's not going to feel like what you're used to calling happiness. It's going to feel like the misplacement of something valuable, which is your fucking sadness you're addicted to.
Right.
Don't succumb to the urge to find it. Let it be missing. It's your sadness. What you're experiencing is going to be this like banal limbo that's going to be like starting this happiness diet.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Like you're miserable.
I cried through my smile.
Do you get depressed? You're always in such a great mood.
As a black man in America, no.
Why would you?
Oh, just think about cotton.
Happy February, by the way.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. What a month.
Over.
You know, we're so happy with all the new developments. We like to say we're creating Black history right now.
Yeah. I'm sure you don't watch my Instagram workout, but I'm like fucking like really bringing the Black history thunder. Like,
you're like Sojourner Truth.
I know you're mocking
This
me.
motherfucker don't know who that is.
Is that Black? Damn it. Is it historical?
Yes.
Oh, then I'll learn about it then tomorrow. You can't keep anything from me. I'm like, we're like a little past halfway through, but I work out every other day. So I'm like, well, I know like 5 of the amendments now. I know that our entire I know that, this is going to sound corny and like white knighty or whatever you call it, virtue signally, but like the profound thing I'm learning as a middle-aged man, like taking Black history seriously, I'm reading an hour a morning going like, okay, what the fuck is Plessy versus Ferguson? Here we go. Okay. I don't mean to make that fart sound like the truth. I mean, Plessy versus Ferguson deserves that fright sound, but Black history, of course, does not. If anything, it deserves a choir of angels. The Black history is U.S. history, and vice versa. I mean, it's the country is like it's so. I mean, I know that we know that intellectually, but I'm just sort of like, God damn, this is everything comes out of this. It's like this weird experiment that we've done where we were the worst. I grew up being
bad.
taught that we were like, that the U.S. was just like playing ball with this global thing called slavery, and that the U.S. was like, okay, I guess we'll do it too. We were like really into it. And I really honestly did not know that. And I thought, and that and that then this young country like spent most of its life engaged in that concept. Like this god of capitalism that we worship, where we're like, there's no kings here. You can't be born special. You could, as long as you work hard, you could take over the country. Anyways, get back to work for free. Hear ye. Those guys should be able to vote and not be owned. You're like, yeah, I agree. What are we gonna do?
It's true. It's amazing how much shit we got done despite all the people trying to stop us.
I know.
Like, we really were like, sort of like, damn, we gotta build this shit anyway.
I keep
we also
putting my
needed a place
other
to
hat.
live.
Like I put two different hats on. I put on my 1800s racist hat. It's not that hard for me.
It should be really heavy.
I'm like, it's made of wood and like Danish bones.
Straw. You're not very good at it. It's the 1800s. You're not very good at hat making, but you've got a hat.
And I keep, I'm like, well, these people in the past, they didn't know the future that they could either service or undercut every step of the way. I'm a little comfortable supposing that there's like these we got genuine eugenic style racists in the world, like people who are genuinely like, for real, let me measure your skull, like fucking like count, like no really like they're into like the whole like biological aspect of it. Those people are what we have in a much larger group is like a lot of like conservative people maybe who are like, don't tell me I owe anybody anything, and I just got here. I don't have to feel guilty about anything. I don't want to share my money, and that kind of shit. Not so much like, I think a vast majority of us would agree, actually, that given what we're dealing with today, we can all look back with hindsight 100 short years ago and go, oops, that was dumb, because what that did is it fucked up for everything for everybody. Right now, do you know what I mean? Do you agree or disagree with that dumb white explanation?
It's interesting.
Okay, all right. That's as much as I'm going to get at.
Yeah. There's a lot there.
I'm just saying, like the Great Migration, like where it's like, okay, the Civil War is over and the emancipation has happened, and it's like people are just like doing what you'd expect them to do, which is just like start to fill the rest of the like, get the fuck out of here. Half of them can't get out of here,
right?
And then half of them are like, where do I go? What do I do? What do I dress like? What should my name be? What is my fucking role in this country?
They hid in the woods for decades.
They hid in the woods?
They hid in the woods, and then they started to form towns. So it got as far as Oklahoma. And then some people got here and there. The smartest thing you could do was go north, which is why you have cities like Detroit. But they didn't get that far out west. But for the most part, they would have to clump together in groups and hide in the woods. So the first 3-4 years after slavery ends, people are just out in the woods, which is crazy.
It's very seems like cartoonishly simple.
It's tragic. There are cartoons that are tragic, but
they're just living in the woods.
It literally. Here's the thing: this piece of history is they didn't know what to do, right. So like they just let people go.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
so some people
when we
stayed.
Look back at that period and we go like, so as a running like the white kind of like panic simulator in my head when I go back in time and I don't have the privilege of being like,
Donald Trump.
I'm like living in the future and I'm like, oh, well, of course everybody should blah, blah, blah. Like, who knows what I would have called self-care back then as far as like not getting into trouble. You know what I mean?
Some grease and a little bit of methylatum.
But like, no, everybody was like having arguments about like, well, you're free, you should go away now. Or you're free, everyone should give you a bunch of money now. Or you're free, I hate you, I got to figure out how to make you hate yourself. Like, nobody was thinking about, everybody was like wondering what was going to happen tomorrow, and 80% of it was like trying to avoid something that they didn't even know what they were trying to avoid. They just were scared.
No, all those 3 thoughts that you just had were actual thoughts that those people had. So self-hate, making black people hate themselves for sure. Go away was certainly part of the plan.
I mean, there were abolitionists who were like, yeah, I hate slavery. We got to get these people out of here. That was what blew my mind. It was like the people that were there.
It's crazy.
Like there wasn't like people were like looking at this room today and going like, so what can we do to make their life like? How can we lead to that in a right way so that everyone there doesn't have a bunch of like disproportionate disenfranchisement and everything's like kind of like. Confusing and in turmoil with a lot of weird debates and scary, awkward podcast conversations.
No, it's not scary.
They weren't thinking about us. They were thinking about.
They were definitely thinking about maintaining power for at least 1,000 years. There is a 1,000-year plan. That's what those things are, like the Marshall Plan and all these manifest destinies. Is like when a bunch of guys get together and say, "What are we going to do for the next 400 or 500 years?" People are thinking like dynasty for real. It's crazy because we don't think like that, but there are legit dudes that are like, yeah.
I don't even know what I think. Like, I want to know what the equipment. Because like when I think about the future, I picture a bunch of people on a space station like harvesting soy out of a hydroponic garden, and everyone looks vaguely like Tiger Woods, probably. No. Because we're never going to stop being racist. You're never going to eliminate racism. You're going to eliminate race first. That's the first thing that's going to happen.
You always say that. You always say you're never going to eliminate racism. But remember that the thing that racism is attacking is stronger than racism. So I don't know how that's possible. It's almost like you really cannot beat women. You think you can, but the initial like attempt at starting that war has you fucked already. Like that's just a bad idea to begin with.
Yeah.
You know? And if you look at where we're at right now, we didn't really respond the way we were supposed to respond necessarily, voting wise. And we have more women in Congress. So women still figured out a way to get past us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's
the same thing goes for race, is that you will wear yourself out trying to oppress.
Yeah,
you will.
That's a big theme of Black history that I'm getting into, is like noticing that basically like you have lots of people that I like narcissistically I go like, oh, this person's more of a Dan Harmon because they just want to be left alone. They're actually born kind of privileged relative to other people that may have that complexion. And actually the war came to them because they couldn't, there was these policies. Like this morning's lesson was about Mamie Phipps Clark, you know, who did the doll test that was like a part of the Brown versus
What's the doll test?
The doll test is taking the dolls, and you got dolls that have blonde hair and white faces, and dolls that are brown skin and black hair.
And they fight.
And you say to kids that are
like Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
You gather a bunch of kids that are 2 to 5 years old from segregated schools and from desegregated schools. And you sit them down, and white kids and black kids and girls and boys, and you all these control groups and whatever. And you say to the kids, which one's the bad kid? Which one's the kid you wish you were? Which, et cetera, et cetera. These kind of questions, and like realizing that racial identity is bored into you by the age of 4, and then it's just fucking soldered in place. Like, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, except when race is connected to class and worth and stuff. Like it's okay for a kid to know, I guess, that there's such a thing as race by the age of 4. It's really not that mature a concept. It's kind of dopey.
You could teach your kid to celebrate it too,
right?
Which is the deal with Black History Month. We don't focus on the trauma necessarily. We focus on all the fun shit, like stoplights. You know, great shit like
peanut butter.
Peanut butter. No, that's a big misconception.
Okay, tell me what?
Why? Because George Washington Carver just wanted to be left alone.
Of all the things he did not.
Oh, he did 1,100 things with peanuts, but the peanut butter.
But peanut butter.
That fucking passive aggression.
Who did?
It was, according to Eddie Murphy, it was a guy named Thomas Jiff Riley.
Right.
But that's the spin. Maybe look at Black History Month as a time to celebrate all of your great Black heroes.
No,
not the trauma that they went through to
I
get
know.
there.
Believe me, there were a lot of times when I was like halfway through my workout month, I'm like, I don't want this to be a history of racism. But then I was like, it is, and that's better for me. Like I am following the trauma, actually. In point of fact, like
don't follow the
and I
trauma.
also was like, I'm going to be obscure. I'm not going to forget Rosa Parks because it's like that's curated and all this stuff. But it's like I don't know shit about the details of Rosa Parks and stuff. So I'm actually just going in order from Nat Turner Revolt to by the end of the month. I think I'm gonna fucking bring this thing into the station with like I don't know Bobby Seale or
there's also Gerald Lewin though it's double Lewyn. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, but he ran Time for the longest time. He's like huge black executive.
Time. It's not
the magazine, the whole corporation.
I was like, somebody tell him. Like,
black man ran Time. White man stole it from him.
Don't let them pacify you with shit like that, man. Time isn't run by a black man. It's like that guy in the Hudsucker Proxy. It was their old black janitor in the Hudsucker Proxy. He was basically God. He kind of like is like the janitor in the clock building. Oh, it's a Hudsucker Proxy again.
So, do you have any heroes? Was there anybody that you learned about that you were like, and then we got to go? But do you have anybody that you were like, I didn't know this dude. This is incredible. Like GPS is a black woman.
Well, style-wise, I like Langston Hughes, but he's got to be a person who I learned the least amount about because he's a poet and I didn't read any of his poetry. But I like that there's debate about his sexuality and that it's none of your business, And then he dressed fancy and he was just he was positive. His quotes were like, hey, if the white man is happy with the colored man, sorry for my own fashionable language, that's great. If he's not, can't do nothing about that. If the black man is happy with the black man, terrific, bonus, gravy. If he's not, hey, well, it's like this kind of like that. It was, I like that guy because it was like, he that's what I need in my life right now is overcoming approval addiction. And the Harlem Renaissance was about I think I'm in my own Harlem Renaissance right now, Brandon, is what I'm saying.
Okay. I will fuck with this.
I've been emancipated from a certain tax bracket and I've done a great migration up to the urban centers of.
So all you need now is a gold chain.
Yeah. I'm gonna invent new ways to walk. I'm gonna write poems about nothing but rivers. I'm not gonna give a shit if anyone gets it. And people can just speculate about where I put my dick. I like that people are like, oh, he's clearly gay, which is it's important to the gay people. If he was gay and he was in the closet, then it's important that he was in the closet. Why was he in the closet, et cetera? That's important to current things. So, you don't detract from that. But it's also just kind of funny. You go you're saying because he really, really, really respected black men. So he was. There's come on, look at this. Look at this thing he wrote about the regalness of the black man or whatever. You're wow, that's some gay stuff. That's fucked up. You can't. You're right there. It's interesting. He's yeah. So yeah, I think I guess that's my hero right now.
All right,
Langston Hughes. But I really should read something he wrote.
You'd love it. You'd love it.
Yeah.
And dust off a little James Baldwin as well, because you would love James Baldwin.
James Baldwin. 2 L's?
1 L, 1 D.
Okay.
But Baldwin. You would love James Baldwin.